Hey, welcome back to the Raw Intuition channel. And I'm hoping that my camera lighting is a little better in this one. Getting a little better with every video. We'll just, keep the improvement up. So I'm back and I want to do a review on the beginner course that I took at the Astrology Store for astrology. And it is with Dave Campbell, who is very popular and has students outside, taking the class online from different states. I'm actually currently in a different state, but I wasn't in a different state when I started. So I got both views. So that's cool. I got to do some online class and I also got to do it in person. I very much prefer in person, but with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people probably don't want to take classes in person. And yeah, so anyways, it was a really fun class. If you've seen any of my other videos or you know that I've been doing astrology for like 20 years, you're probably wondering why I'm taking a beginner course. And that's a great question. And there is a lot of answers to that, but the simple answer is because I want to learn from his lens. So every astrologer has a different lens with a different cultural background, with a different vibe, a different feel, and not all astrologers follow the same rules. In fact, I've never met any astrologer that does their astrology the exact same way. So I like to study different ones, and I have been looking for an instructor for a long time, and it's really hard for me to commit. So I decided on Dave Campbell because I had been given some good reviews of him and he was local in my area. And so I wanted to reach more into my network that was closer to me. Like I said, it was in Glendale, Arizona. And then halfway through the class, I moved to New Mexico. So much for staying in my area, but we'll see where I end up. I don't know. It's a journey. So the class is a 3-course. There's 3 different parts to it. So I just finished the 6-week beginner course, and then there's a 4-week intermediate course, and then there is a advanced course, which I don't remember right now how many weeks it is, but it's probably like 4 to 6 weeks. And then there's an exam at the end, and then you get certified by Dave Campbell to be an astrologer. But like you do have to be tested and everything. So I'm sure that he doesn't go around certifying any old, nonsense. So we'll see if he certifies me. That'd be funny if he did it right. He's just like, you suck. So we get a printout of our chart. Now this is not like the best perk of the class because you can literally get this chart anywhere. I don't know if you should be looking at my birthday, but like so you get a printout of your chart and then he'll kind of talk you through that. You can go to astro.com, get that for free. You don't need to pay for the class to do that. In fact, I would recommend that you study on your own a good amount, because I'm going to make that video about where all these places it's already done, all those things, the signs, what they mean, planets in the house, blah blah blah. So I'm going to make a video all about that. But once you kind of get your feet wet and you're like, okay, there is a limit that you can get from the internet, from online. I've been studying astrology online for free, and actually there's no limit to it as far as the information you can get, but there is something that you get from having an instructor that I wanted, like a teacher, a network, right? And I do not have a network of astrologers. I've been studying by myself for a very, very long time. So the class consists of overview of the chart, which is what I just showed you. That's your birth chart. This is the first day. So it's a 2-hour long, 6:30 to 8:30. And so it's 2 hours once a week on Monday nights. And I don't know if that's going to change for like the next course or whatever, but like that's what I'm doing right now. And so the first class was an overview of your chart, or just like what the natal chart looks like, and then the 12 signs. So, you know, the Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. Then you have Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. And so they'll go over all of those signs and the meaning on the first day. Like I said, these archetypal properties are so depth, and they're so deep, and they fluctuate into different circumstances. Like there's an endless amount of information. You could study one planet. Like you could literally just study Aries archetype for like ever, and you could keep finding new things. So because it adjusts, you know, they're all flexible in their energy. It's not something tangible. It's not like, anyways, but you can apply them to any cultural aspect. So I like to study different lenses and different cultures and religions in the application of astrology, because the astrology has been used across the world in different cultural contexts, and it always adapts to the different cultures. So I try to get to the bottom of why it can do that, or like whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I say, I'm done asking why, but that's not true. I'm gonna just keep asking why this works. Why does it make sense? What are these fundamental rules? And so I'm gonna have a whole video about like other stuff about that. So the second class was 10 planets. So those are the 10 planets that we are aware of right now. We keep finding more. So, and that includes Pluto. We include in astrology, we include Pluto as a planet. So, and that includes the sun and the moon. In astrology, we call them planets just to make life easy, right? Because we don't need to separate it for this topic. But we are aware, we call them luminaries, outside of just trying to say we're going to talk about the 10 different bodies. So the nodes are not a body. So the nodes are separate, but they are a point of, it's a point in the sky from the moon. And there's a bunch of videos on the internet that explain the technicals, which I don't have time for. So retrogrades, houses, and aspects was week 3. And those are all, you know, basic principles, great information, chart patterns, hemispheres, quadrants, major aspects. So these are all great things that you can go Google right now, and you can go watch videos about. So I highly suggest that you do that if you really want to learn and study astrology. And then on week 4, we do week 5, we do major asteroids, which I don't use asteroids a whole lot. So I'm really glad he put that in the beginner course, because most astrologers that's been doing it a long time don't consider that a beginner thing. And so that was one thing I really liked about his beginner course, because he said he likes to, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I'm kind of an old dog, right? So I was kind of like, there's some truth to that, but I definitely use Chiron. So he teaches Chiron in that class, and I love Chiron. I've been using Chiron. And I've been looking at Juno for a while, but I haven't used it in enough. I don't use them in client consultations until I've seen it enough time in practice that I know I have a good feel of it. So I have to do at least 100 charts to really feel comfortable including it in a client consultation. But I do mention it, and if I do mention it, I'll be like, you know, this is kind of like this, but I haven't run it enough times for me to confidently, you know, say that. So that's how I do things. As I'm learning, obviously I will get more confident in everything. And so the decans are the, sorry, I had a brain fart is what I call them, brain farts. My brain farted. So the decans are these parts that I've never done it like that. So each house has a degree, and they have these little numbers. The signs have little numbers on them. And so each one of your sun sign has a degree. And depending on that degree, it's within 30 degrees. And the decan has 3 parts. And I have studied decans, but not the way he does them. So the way that he does them is he assigns, so if you're a Cancer, the first part of Cancer, like, so the first couple days of the Cancer time, you are a Cancer, and then it's a Cancer, the second water sign, which is Scorpio. And so you'd be a Cancer Scorpio sun, and then Cancer Pisces sun. If you barely know your sun sign, don't worry about that. Just go study what the signs mean, and then you can come back to all of this, or you can go take his class, or you can take another person's class. I'm gonna hopefully take a lot more classes, and I'm gonna do a video about all the people that teach astrology for free online if you haven't already found it. So you can just Google it or put it in the search thing on YouTube. And so then there was decans. And so he teaches decans. They change every like 2.5 degrees or something. And he has like a chart, and you cannot memorize that chart. If you can memorize that chart, I want to talk to you. I want to look at your chart, because I want to know what placements you have that make you a genius, because it is very difficult. But it will, so my son, according to the way he teaches it, is a Cancer, Pisces, Gemini sun. And I feel that. I feel it, you know, like I can't argue with that. There had, so anyways, there's the major asteroids. We talked about that. There's the transits. So the last class that we just did, I just got out of, I finished it a couple hours ago, is transits and how to use an ephemeris. If you want to study astrology, you need an ephemeris. I have kind of an app on my phone. I use Astrogold, and that is amazing because I can move forward and backwards in time, and I have a book ephemeris. Depending on how I want to look at things, they're both really easy. Also, I think astro.com has a free ephemeris. So there was one thing about this class is it is a bookstore, and I feel like if money is an issue for you, there might be a way that you could tell, because I don't think you need all the classes. And if he sees this, he might get mad at me. But like, I don't think you necessarily need all the books. That he really does advertise a lot of books. You do not need all those books. A lot of that information you can get online, and he honestly didn't use the books that much in class. He gave a lot of handouts. So I think though the book that was really good was the one in practice. And so actually, let me pause this and go get it right. Hey, so yeah, I forgot to bring the books in. I had to sneak away. So this is one of the books that he has you buy for the class, the complete book of astrology. So if you're also not ready to take his class, the first class is $150. The second class is $100, and I don't know how much the third advanced class is. But then the books are around $50. So this one is about $25. You get a $20 discount when you take the class. So this one was good for a beginner book. It does the job. And all beginner books, though, I mean, you have to read multiple to really understand the archetypes. You can't just read one, this is Cancer, and then fully embrace that. I guess intuitive people can. It says astrology for your personal transformation, you yourself. This is by Douglas Lodge and Demetra George, authors of Asteroid Goddess. And this book is really good because you can, it's like a workbook. So you can come in here and fill out a bunch of stuff and color it in. So like, see, I have my little things filled in. You do the chart. And you can kind of do that in your free time. We don't do that in class. Like I said, he really doesn't use the books in class. This is like for your homework. So technically you could probably use other books. You could, but I want to support the business, and they insist on you buying these. But I would talk to him if money's an issue. I think you can work around it. These keywords. This is a great book. It's all our real keywords. And so it has a lot of basic, it'll explain to you like the houses. These are phrases for all the houses. There's like Aquarius keywords. It's Aquarius time and you can't see anything that I'm doing right now. So anyways, this is I know, fixed, air, like the basic, universality, people, study life, detached, original, pioneer, freedom, reform, mental, scientific, metaphysics, unconventional, retentive, fixity. The positives of Aries is friendship, humanitarian, altruistic, cooperative, inventive, new ideas, self-sufficient, brotherhood, intuitive, progressive, occultism, impersonal, memory, persistence. And the negative of Aquarius is faddish. I don't know what that means. Sorry. So exploitive, non-materialistic, unsympathetic, frank, visionary, impetus, rebellious, undemonstrative, exacting, eccentricity, bohemian. I like that word. I don't know why. I like bohemian. Reclusive, inhibition. I think bohemian resonates with a part of me that I don't express. I think that's why I like it. So, and then goes on, but I just want to go through, since it's like Aquarius time, everybody's talking about the Aquarius age, all the planets in Aquarius. I want to go through that one to give you an example of what this is like. And it goes through the first house, but I think the keywords and is a great thing to have, but honestly, you can Google that. Like you can Google all that stuff. And so, but you should support your local thrift stores. And because it takes a long time to learn this stuff, guys. Like the amount of time I put into learning all this, I could have had a doctorate degree. And I'm keeping going. And so any good astrologer will tell you that 50 years, I know people have been studying for 50 years and they do not know. They will tell you the more they learn, the more they realize that they don't know about the world. And anyone who tries to tell you otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about. So please know that's with any subject, whether they're a doctor, if someone's like, well, I'm a doctor, I know everything about health, they're not a good doctor. They're not. A teacher that says they know everything about teaching is not a good teacher. Anybody that starts to tell you that they're done learning, that they've mastered it, that they're, you can get a master's, but you can't master it, anything really in this life, because we are humans that constantly keep evolving and we keep showing up and we keep changing to the circumstances. Look at how much we have to change and adapt. We're so resilient. So anyways, that's like a preaching thing for another day. But I really liked this. And then this is his list of recommended books on the bottom. So you can see those. I recommend if you're gonna buy them to go through them because they're a good local shop. It's in Glendale, Arizona, called the Astrology Store. And I'll try to get some links for the description. I'm not gonna link like internet ways to buy these books because I want you to find them at a local place near you. If you're gonna buy them, please. If that's an issue to go somewhere, you can Google it yourself and do the work. But that is, so I did, okay, so I knew a lot about it and about the beginning courses, but in every single class, even though I have been studying the 12 signs for like majority of my life, since I was like 11 years old, I've been studying the 12 archetypes. This was still interesting to me. This first class still was fun for me. So, if you were bored by me reading the descriptions of Aquarius, either I'm a boring reader or like maybe astrology is not for you. But I don't know, give it another chance. Listen to somebody else. And so I'm gonna keep, what I want to do for the rest of the class is hopefully after every class, I want to do like a quick what did we learn? Because things are going to start getting deeper. We're going to start studying that. Today we studied transits, which is with your natal chart, all the planets are stuck like that forever. So this is your natal chart the day you're born. And I shouldn't say they're stuck like that because that's a progress chart, but usually I read natal. Usually I go off natal. Sometimes I'll look at progress, and then I look at transits. So your transits, we didn't talk about progressions in the first class. We just started, and midpoints. He talked about midpoints, which I do not study midpoints. That's a new concept for me that I want to get into, but that's not on the list right here, but that's what we did today was we studied a lot of midpoints and transits. So a midpoint is like there's a planet here at 0 degrees, then there's a planet at 30 degrees, and so 15 degrees of it would be the midpoint or whatever the math is on that. So then if things are aspecting that or there's a planet there in the midpoint, that's like how you integrate those two planets. And he does a really good job trying to explain it, trying to visualize it. It was a new concept for me. So even in the beginner course, I got a lot of new concepts. All right, so I think I covered that. I am working on my rambling. I think I'm gonna cut it and I'll see you in my next video.